First coming to college was genuinely a terrifying experience. I didn't know my way around the place. A lot of my friends had gone to kegs, so I was very much at crossroads. But I think one thing that I could have done to better accommodate myself, and this advice I would genuinely give to anyone going to college, is I felt I could have drawn on previous experiences when I first began secondary school, things I did to accommodate myself, how I adjusted to certain routines, and how I genuinely settled in. And I feel that whenever someone starts a new college or place of education, it's always going to be very hard-hitting when you first start. But that blow can be softened to an extent by learning through using a familiar phase.
Okay. And then in your next year at college, when you started your BTEC qualification, how did things change then?
Well, genuinely, I wanted to go at it from a genuinely different perspective, because I felt that, in a way, the support could have been better, I could have done better, and I felt I could have just done so much more to understand the course. So when I started the BTEC course, the one thing that was on my mind was be flawless. Mistakes aren't an option. Of course, that's when I began to worry that I may or may not have been out of my depth. Of course, that was when the support was organised on a consistent basis for the entire year, and that just literally changed a lot of my outlook on college. They managed to, at first, the support took place to a great extent, started with them taking notes, asking a question I had intended to ask the tutor if I was uncertain of something, as well as walking around with me when participating in coursework and asking people questions as part of an interview.
So what was the impact of having that support available to you?
Well, it really helped me to get used to the place. And when I tried to learn something, I generally tried to see how will someone else go about this. Now, that didn't really help much with some of the other students, because at the time I was overwhelmingly shy. But in the support workers, I had found someone I could confide in, someone who I could completely place my trust with, and someone who, as far as I was concerned, would always have the right answers for me. So when I began to see about how they would go about, like, asking questions, and in terms of general confidence, I tried to apply similar techniques to my own behaviour. So, because originally the asking questions difficulty was not necessarily due to understanding the answer, but due to worry that I would not be able to understand the question at all, whereas everyone else could get it bang like that.
So it was about confidence.
Yes, but of course, over time, when I saw other people making minor mistakes, I tried to tell myself, these people have come onto this course, they're all, to a certain extent, fish out of water. They're going through the exact same thing that you are now, and every now and then you're going to find that they have also worries about the work. So try to keep that in mind, and that really helped me to, I suppose, balance out my worries, because I knew that I was in the same boat as all these people.
And so through the support and encouragement you've had, you've now started to look at doing a university course. And what information have you gathered or gone and sought about the support that's available at university?
Well, actually, it's incredible. That's all I can say. It's on a complete, just when you think support can't get any greater, university just goes and ups it to a new level, because what makes the support workers incredible is that they are by no means patronising or condescending in any way. They are completely on level with you. They understand your needs and your boundaries, and they will respect them, but they will also be aware of any areas you may be struggling with, and they will go about those in a very calm and focused way. And that's what De Montfort University did for me, which, located in Leicester, would require an hour on the bus. Now, my main worry was I wouldn't be able to meet the lessons. Of course, during a scheduled meeting taking place 2 months ago, I was informed that it would be possible to accommodate my timetable. So rather than have a lesson commence at 9 o'clock, it would commence around 10:30, a time when I would be most likely able to attend. And they also stated that there were other things they could do in terms of course, giving me the disabled students allowance and providing me with a dictaphone with which to record sessions. And hearing that support, what they had to offer in terms of equipment, it made me realise just how far I had come in terms of support here, because I had gone from having support workers relying on them for handwriting, for asking questions, and by the beginning of my second year at BTEC journalism, I was taking on these roles, and I would participate in them with much wider efficiency than I had even believed I was capable of, and a lot of that was due to the encouragement and the passion of the support workers looking after me.
That's great. So how do you feel about the thought of going to university next year?
Well, I think that it's going to be a difficult. I think the fear of change is always going to be the scariest thing. You could be someone who's completely familiar with change. You could have gone through the process 100 times, and yet that fear of change is always going to feel brand new to you. It's always going to be fresh in whatever the new thing is you decide to do in your life. But I think the thing to keep in mind is that in some cases, particularly in terms of mine, now I was terrified at starting university. I felt I really need to do this. I want to do this, but I didn't know how I would cope with the change. But then I began to realize that a lot of these fears were founded more on the impending change. So basically, it was the thought of the change itself and not the actual change, and as soon as I kept that in mind, I felt, don't let that hold me back, and just started moving forward to university. And now, as a result of the support that has allowed me to become increasingly self-sufficient, and as well as the support still on offer to me at De Montfort, as long as I need it, I eagerly look forward to commencing this next stage in my life.